Here are the supplies you're going to need for the dream catcher. All right, so let's get started. On the first step of your dream catcher, you're going to need your string and you're going to need your brass ring. The first step of making a dream catcher is to create a texture over your brass. If you only made it over your brass, it would actually slide around. This is really smooth, as you can tell. So what you're gonna do is you're going to basically string and loop your string around and around and around. So to get started, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your string. It's actually embroidery thread. You're going to knot it, wrap around it, and you're going to knot. And let's do that a few times just to make sure it's nice and secure. I'm gonna do one more. Pull nice and tight. All right, so now what you're gonna do is using one of your fingers, you're actually going to hold down this part because as you can see, it will slide around if you don't leave it in the same spot. So I'm going to leave the string and I'm gonna hold on to this and I'm going to loop around. I would loop around at least 3 times. It's nice and tight and I'm pulling it in. Pull it all the way through, go slow because if you go too fast, what's gonna happen is you're gonna knot your thread and you're gonna have to cut it and you're gonna have to start over again. So I'm gonna loop around and I'm pulling it. All I'm doing is pulling the bottom string. Pull it tight, pull it over, lock it in. Wrap it around. You guys might find that you might have to do this a few times to really understand how to keep it in place. You might go around in circles and then all of a sudden you look back and now you're stuck because now the entire string is gone. That's why it's important to start with at least 3 knots. Make sure it's nice and tight and you're always holding on to it like I am here. Pull it all the way through, loop, and then pulling that string. So it goes all the way through. If you don't feel comfortable looping it more than once, you can loop it 1 time. So go in, around, and then pull it through. All right, so you're gonna finish this. You're gonna go around the entire thing. This might take possibly, it's gonna take at least 2 class periods to do this. So when you're done with it and it's nice and taut or tight, and maybe the period already ended, what you're gonna do is you wanna keep this tight because if not, you're gonna wind up unstringing it and it's gonna get everywhere. So you're gonna use your clothespin to lock it in place. You can do something where you pull it down and wherever that string was, you utilize that little dip that you see right there to sandwich it in. And what that will do is it'll keep it in place, okay? The next supplies you make sure you have is always going to be the brass ring, the string, the beads, and your clothespin. You're now going to grab your needle and start threading it. And your completed brass. On the end of your string, it's pretty long as you can see, and you're going to start your design. Just like we started, you're going to start off with your knots. I'm going to do 1 knot, I'm going to do 2 knots, and then I'm going to end with 3 knots. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna set up your string, make sure it's not tangled, make sure it's all laid out and it's not knotted anywhere, not taut. You're now going to create this design where you're going in, pulling it all the way through, making sure that it's not knotted. And now I'm gonna go in again. I'm going slow. I'm making sure that it doesn't get knotted. Sliding it up. So you're gonna need to make certain loops, a certain amount of times. Just take a look at that, the sheet that I have. It shows you directions on how to create these loops and how many should be in each side. So if you would divide this, you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. 5 to 6, I would say. It's up to you. So now I'm gonna loop around. I'm gonna do it again. Go in. Make sure now your piece, your string is staying on the inside, and now you're diving from behind. Notice how I'm holding my string in place to make sure that it doesn't slide and it stays in position. So you're gonna continue this until the entire piece has one layer. Done in one section. Now try to make sure that these are in the inside. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's like 9 here. So now what you're gonna do next, you're now gonna come from the inside and go through the next, the next loop. Hold it again, go to the next loop. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna keep on repeating this over and over again. Make sure that it's tight, just like I have here. The next loop, inside out. Pull it tight. And then you're gonna continue to go all the way around. So now I made one entire rotation around your entire piece. The next thing you're gonna do is now you're just gonna repeat the steps over and over again. Always go into the next loop, the next loop, the next loop. Every loop that you create, you're just going to create another opening, another space. Don't go back to the old one, go to the new one. And always remember to pull it tight. Go slow when you're pulling it through so you don't knot it. The bell's about to ring. You're gonna use that clip that I gave you and you're gonna pull it tight to the side. Utilize that small little dipped opening and then you're going to lock it in place. And then you're gonna place it inside your bag. kind of have to loop onto another one that's like closer to it. Pull it through. So now you have a nice little loop. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go inside, pull it. Do it again. Go inside the next one. Do it another time. Just to make sure. I like that 3. Pull it through, which creates that loop. Go inside. Maybe you want to do it 2 times, and then pull it taut. Then you'll move on to adding the string pieces and your feathers.